My father's name flashes on my phone screen for the fifth time. I watch it vibrate against my glass desk, the sleek surface a far cry from the scratched oak table where I did homework as a child outside my window. Chicago's skyline gleams in the afternoon sun, 5 stories up and 800 miles from the rancher home where I learned to make myself small. I hover my finger over. Ignore again, the leather chair creaks as I shift my weight. The phone falls silent, 3 seconds. Later, an email notification appears from Lawrence Reynolds. Subject: your sister needs you, last chance. My stomach tightens as I open it, the words blurring together, except for the final line. Chloe's wedding is the most important event of her life. Be there or forget about any future support. A voicemail notification pops up next. I press play and set it on speaker. Madeline, it's your father. His voice fills my apartment, commanding as ever. I don't know what game you're playing, but this has gone on long enough. Your sister's wedding is in 2 weeks, and the festivities start this weekend. If you can't put aside whatever grievance you have for Chloe's special time, then you can forget about any future support from this family. Your mother is beside herself with worry. Call me back immediately. A bitter laugh escapes my throat. I cross to the closet and pull out a framed diploma hidden behind winter coats. The golden bossing catches the light. Anne Reynolds. Bachelor of Science and Data Science. Summa cum laude. 3 years collecting dust, instead of hanging on my wall, because old habits die hard. My phone buzzes with a text from my mother. Please call, your father is getting impatient. I glance at the calendar on my desk. Chloe's 2E wedding extravaganza is highlighted in angry red. 14 days of ceremonies, parties, and photo shoots. For the golden child's perfect day. I tap open my banking app, 138 in savings, more than enough to never need their support again. They just don't know it yet. A memory surfaces. 3rd grade, clutching my report card with 5 perfect as mom at the kitchen table, nodding without looking up from her magazine. That's nice, honey, that same night. The living room erupting in cheers for Chloe's participation, ribbon from the school play. Did you see how she projected her voice? She was the best one up there. Dad's face glowing with pride while I sat invisible on the stairs. The science fair. My sophomore year. The blue ribbon I won for analyzing local water quality. The empty chairs where my parents should have been. They'd gone to Chloe's soccer game instead. She'd scored 1 goal and they talked about it for weeks. Principal Williams handed me my award. Your parents must be so proud. I nodded, the hollow feeling in my chest already familiar. Then senior year. The thick acceptance package from the University of Chicago. My hands trembling as I read. The scholarship offer, Chicago mom's forehead creased with concern. That's so far away, Chloe might feel inferior. If you go there when she's just attending community college, Dad didn't even look up from his newspaper. We've discussed this. You're staying local, end of story. The quiet negotiation that followed. I could live in the dorms at State just 20 minutes away for quiet study. I'd argued, they agreed. Believing I'd surrendered 2 weeks later, I boarded a bus to Chicago with everything I owned in 2 suitcases, leaving a carefully crafted paper trail of community college registration and a fake dorm assignment, the calculated risk of my first real independence. Now I stand before my bathroom mirror, no longer the invisible daughter. My reflection shows someone they wouldn't recognize. Confident, successful, unburdened by the need for their approval. I return to my desk and trace my fingers over my name on the diploma made in Anne Reynolds product. Analyst, 6-figure salary. Invisible no more. My laptop screen glows as I open the airline website. My fingers move decisively across the keyboard, booking a first-class ticket home time. They finally see me. I whisper to my reflection in the darkened screen. I pack my designer luggage with precision, tucking the diploma between layers of clothes. A gentle smile spreads across my face as I imagine their expressions when they finally learn who I've become. Have you ever had to hide your success from those who should have celebrated it most? What would you do if your family only valued you when they needed something from you? My homecoming is about to teach them a lesson they never expected. The rental car crunches over familiar gravel. I park behind a Flores span, unloading cascades of white roses. My childhood home has transformed into something from a bridal magazine with ivory fabric. Swags draped across the porch railings, my mother opens the door. Before I knock, her hair is colored, a precise shade of honey blonde, not a strand out of place, maiden. Finally, her hug feels like a performance, too stiff and too brief, decided to support your sister. I see inside the house smells of vanilla candles and fresh paint. Wedding planning has turned every surface into a staging area. My father emerges from his study, reading glasses perched on his nose. He doesn't hug me, just nods over a clipboard. Good you're here. The programs need to be folded in these guest welcome bags assembled. He thrusts the clipboard into my hands. Chloe needs these done by 4. I just walked in the door. Dad, and now you have something useful to do. Chloe appears at the top of the stairs, phone pressed to her ear. No, I specifically said, cascading arrangement. Not gathered. This is literally ruining everything. She spots me and holds up one finger in the universal sign for wait. Do you understand this is the most important day of my life? When she finally descends, she air kisses near my cheek. Matt. Thank God the caterer is threatening to quit. And Mom is useless with the seating chart. Nice to see you too, Chloe. Elliot's planning this surprise for the reception. And I need to make sure it coordinates with everything else, Elliot. I sat down my bag. Her fiancé, my mother supplies. You'll meet him at dinner. He's absolutely wonderful. Such a brilliant investor. Crypto millionaire Chloe corrects with obvious pride Elliot. Brady arrives at precisely 6:30, carrying an expensive bottle of wine and wearing a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. He's taller than I expected, with the kind of clean-cut handsomeness that belongs in commercials for luxury watches. The mysterious sister finally appears. He grips my hand too firmly. Chloe said, "You were some kind of computer genius hiding away in the big city product analyst. I correct? Sounds intense?" He winks. "I've got some friends developing an AI trading platform. Revolutionary stuff. We should talk shop sometime during dinner." Elliot dominates with tales of crypto investments and exclusive opportunities. My father hangs on every word. "So which exchanges do you primarily trade on?" I ask during a rare pause. Elliot's smile freezes momentarily. "Oh, a mix. Mostly private platform. Exclusive access through my network." "Fascinating, and your company's based where we're decentralized," he replies smoothly. "The beauty of blockchain, right? I've got partners in Singapore, Zurich, Dubai." My father shoots me a warning look. "Maiden, not everyone wants to discuss business at dinner later." Searching for wedding programs in my father's study, I stumble across refinancing paperwork for the house dated 3 weeks ago. The property I grew up in, which had been nearly paid off, now carries a sizable new mortgage. Voices drift from the adjacent dining room. "Lawrence, are you sure about this second mortgage?" My mother's worried. Tone freezes me in place. "That's everything for my inheritance, too. Helen Elliott has guaranteed 20% returns minimum. But $15,000 is, you wouldn't understand. Investments like these," my father cuts her off. "This is what building real wealth looks like." I lean against the wall, my analyst brain calculating risk factors. Second mortgage, family savings, inheritance, all flowing toward Elliot's vague investment opportunity. He's a fraud. Aunt Helen's voice is barely above a whisper as we stand in the back garden, supposedly admiring her contributions to the wedding flowers. "You see it too?" I ask. She nods, her gray eyes so similar to mine, sharp with concern. "Your father won't listen to me. Started talking about how I've always been jealous of his success. Mr. Wilson down the street lost 000 in an exclusive investment opportunity last year." She continues. "Sounded awfully familiar when I heard about Elliot's proposals made." In a familiar voice calls from the fence. "Line, Mr. Thomas." My old science teacher waves. "I've been following your career. That Chicago data science program you attended is one of the best in the country." I freeze. "How did you unlike your parents? Some of us actually pay attention, Anne." Helen pats my hand for the first time since arriving. "I feel seen, Dad." "Mom, I think we need to talk about Elliot." We're in the living room that evening. "What about him?" My father doesn't look up from his newspaper. "I've noticed some inconsistencies in his business claims. The way he describes his investments doesn't align with how crypto markets actually function." My mother sighs dramatically. "Honestly, Maiden, you've always been jealous of your sister's happiness." This isn't about jealousy. His investment claims don't make mathematical sense. My father finally looks at me, his expression hardening. You don't understand business at this level, maiden. Not everything fits into your little spreadsheets. The front door opens and Chloe enters with Elliot. She immediately senses the tension. What's going on? Your sister has concerns about Elliot's business. Chloe's face crumples. Are you serious? You show up after, for 3 years, and immediately try to ruin the only good thing in my life. Elliot places a protective arm around her. It's okay, babe. Some people just don't understand innovation. I look at their faces, defensive, dismissive, deluded, and realize I've miscalculated. They don't want the truth. They want the comfortable fiction that makes Chloe special and Elliot a prince. The invisible daughter sees everything, but no one wants to look when you see loved ones heading for disaster. F. How far should you go to protect them from themselves? Would you risk further rejection to save family who never appreciated you? I tuck myself into the corner booth at Rosie's coffee shop, the same spot where I studied calculus during high school. The vinyl seat squeaks beneath me, familiar yet foreign now. My laptop screen glows with open tabs, business registries, investment forums, social media profiles. 3 previous identities stare back at me. Ethan Lewis, Edward Lambert, Elliot Lawson, now Elliot Lawrence. My finger traces the pattern on the screen. Same man, different names, same charming smile, different victims. I sip my black coffee, its bitterness matching the taste in my mouth as I connect. Unmistakable dots need a refill. Han Margie, the same waitress from my teenage years, appears at my elbow. Her eyes widen as she studies my screen. My cousin lost everything to a man who looked just like that. Called himself Edward. My stomach tightens. Lambert, that's it. She sets the coffee pot down. Investment scheme left town right before the wedding, broke her heart and emptied her savings. I pull up another browser window. Margie, would she talk to me? A woman in her 50s sits across from me 2 hours later, hands trembling around her mug. I thought I was special, Karen whispers. He made me feel chosen. My sister thinks the same thing. Karen slides a folder across the table. Pictures, bank statements, police reports that went nowhere. Her jaw tightens. He disappeared 3 days before our wedding, along with $60,000 and my mother's heirloom ring. The photographs confirm what I already know. The account statements showed transfers to untraceable offshore accounts, the police reports detail 3 other victims with similar stories. In 3 different states. I thank Karen and pack up my evidence. The wedding is 5 days away. The knot in my stomach tightens. Where have you been? Mother's voice cuts through the hallway as I step inside the flower arrangements. Need checking, and Chloe's having a meltdown about the place cards. I glance at my watch, barely past noon. I was researching something important, more important than your sister's wedding. She thrusts the checklist into my hands. Your father noticed your attitude problem, he says. You've barely helped at all. A familiar weight settles on my shoulders. The invisible daughter, now visible only for criticism. I find Chloe in the dining room, surrounded by sample table settings and crumpled tissues. The calligrapher messed up the font. She glares at me through mascara-smudged eyes. Where were you? I've been texting. For hours, I check my phone. 3 texts, the first sent 40 minutes ago. You've always done this. Chloe sniffles dramatically, disappearing when you're needed, then showing up to overshadow me. The accusation lands with practiced precision. For 23 years. My existence has somehow both fallen short and too much. I'm trying to help you, Chloe, by avoiding wedding preparations, by questioning Elliot's business. Her voice rises. You can't stand that. I found someone amazing. While you're alone in Chicago, doing whatever boring job pays your bills, I bite back the truth about my boring job that pays twice what she's ever earned instead. I pick up a place card and examine the allegedly wrong font. I can call the calligrapher, I offer Dad. Already did. Chloe dabs her eyes. At least he supports me. The living room falls silent as I finish presenting my evidence. Printed screenshots, bank records, police reports, and Karen's signed statement he spread across the coffee table. My parents said, stunned, on the sofa. Chloe perches on the armchair, face pale. Elliot stands by the fireplace, his expression carefully composed. This is clearly a case of mistaken identity. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. I have a common face. People mix me up all the time. 3 different women in 3 different states. I keep my voice steady, all with the same experience of a man who your description used names similar to yours, and disappeared with their money right before the wedding made in. My father's voice carries a warning. This is absurd, Dad. Look at the pictures. I pushed a photo toward him. Look at the timeline. Look at the pattern. I've never seen this woman in my life. Elliot insists, gesturing at Karen's statement. Chloe jumps to her feet. I can't believe you'd go this far to ruin my happiness. Tears stream down her face. You've always been jealous of me. Jealous. The word catches me off guard. I'm trying to protect you by ambushing my fiancé with these fabrications. Chloe snatches the papers from the table, crumpling them in her fist. Chloe, I reach for her arm. The second mortgage, your retirement fund, Mom's inheritance. It's all gone to his investment opportunity. Don't you see the pattern? That's enough. My father stands, face flushed. You need to leave this house right now. Elliot places a comforting hand on my father's shoulder. Lawrence, it's all right. She's just concerned for her sister, misguided. But coming from a good place is practiced sympathy makes my skin crawl. I'm not leaving. I stand my ground, straightening to my full height. And I'm not the same invisible daughter anymore. Silence falls across the room. What are you talking about? My mother asks. I didn't go to community college. The truth rushes out after years of containment. I graduated top of my class from the University of Chicago 3 years ago. I'm a product analyst at Tech Fusion. I make 6 figures. I've been supporting myself entirely since I was 18. Their stunned faces would be satisfying under different circumstances. That is impossible, my father stammers. Is it? I pull out my company ID badge, check my LinkedIn profile, call my office. I've been someone else entirely while you were too busy with your golden child to notice. Chloe sinks back into her chair, her expression flickering between shock and disbelief. And now I'm giving you one chance. Your last chance to see the truth before it's too late. I gather the scattered evidence, carefully reassembling the sea. This man is not who he claims to be. The wedding is in 5 days. His pattern is to disappear 3 days before the ceremony. Once he has access to all the funds, Elliot's mask slips for just a S. A flash of calculation crosses his face before the charming smile returns. I think we've all heard enough fantasy for one day. My father's voice has regained its authority. Maiden, I won't ask again. Leave now. I look at each of them. My father's rigid certainty, my mother's conflicted loyalty, Chloe's defensive anger, Elliot's practiced concern when he disappears with everything you have. I say quietly, gathering my belongings. Remember that someone tried to warn you. The front door feels heavier than it did when I was 17, sneaking out to study at the library. This time I'm not hiding who I am. This time I'm walking away with the truth. They refuse to see. Have you ever had to stand alone with the truth? While everyone you love chose comfortable lies. What would you do if you were me? Walk away or fight harder for a family that refused to listen. My next decision will change everything. My phone won't stop buzzing. I set it face down on my kitchen counter and pour another cup of coffee, watching the steam rise in the morning light of my Chicago apartment. 2 days before Chloe's wedding, and the notifications have evolved from demanding to desperate. I flipped the phone over 17 missed calls, 23 text messages, 5 voicemails. The first voicemail plays on speaker. Maiden, he's gone. My father's voice cracks. A sound I've never heard before. Elliot disappeared last night. Call us back the second the accounts are empty. Everything, even your mother's retirement fund. His commanding tone has vanished, replaced by something hollow. The third catches me off guard, the police said. Without a written contract, there's little they can do. My mother's voice trembles. They called it a civil matter. Please, Maddie. We need you to come home. She hasn't called me Maddie since I was 10. Chloe's text glows on the screen. You were right. I didn't listen. Please help us. I traced my finger around the rim of my coffee mug from my 15th floor window. Lake Michigan stretches blue and boundless, 15 stories up and a lifetime away from the family that only sees me when disaster strikes. My mentor. Vivian answers on the second ring. You sound troubled, she says, instead of hello. They finally believe me about Elliot. I tell her now that he's gone with their money and they want your help. Yes. Vivian. Silence hold to years of wisdom. She helped me build my career when my own parents couldn't be bothered to attend my graduation. What are you considering? She finally asks. I press my forehead against the cool glass of my window and haven't decided yet. Boundaries aren't walls, Maiden. There are doors you control after we hang up. I book a flight home for the second time this month. The difference this time, I pack only enough clothes for 3 days. The wedding tent stands half dismantled in the backyard when my cab pulls up. White chairs stacked against the fence. The elaborate flower arrangements now wilting still. Adorn the porch rails. My mother opens the door before I knock, her makeup free. Face aged 5 years. In 2 days you came. Her arms hover for a hug. I don't step into two. My father paces the living room, phone pressed to his ear. He hangs up when he sees me. His eyes flick to my designer handbag, the watch on my wrist. We thought perhaps you might be able to help with. He clears his throat. Financial assistance until we sort this out. What will the Hendersons think? My mother wrings her hands and the country club board. Your father as treasurer. Chloe sits curled on the couch, wearing sweatpants and one of my old high school t-shirts. She must have found in my former bedroom. Her eyes are swollen. If you had been more supportive from the beginning, I might have listened. Her voice lacks its usual edge, but the blame lands familiar. Nonetheless, you were always so negative about him. I set my handbag on the coffee table and unbutton my coat. The living room feels smaller than I remember. The walls still display Chloe's dance trophies, and not a single one of my academic achievements. I can help with some things, I say, my voice steady, not all. My father straightens now. Maiden as your father. I can help you file police reports properly. I can contact my colleague, who specializes in financial fraud recovery. I can connect you with a lawyer who handles cases like this. I take the points off on my fingers. I cannot replace the money you lost. The silence stretches taut between us. But my mother starts. I in 6 figures. I have substantial savings, and I will not sacrifice my financial security to rescue you from a situation I explicitly warned you about. My father's face reddens. This family has supported you your entire life. A laugh escapes me short. Unexpected, did you? When we put a roof over your head, food on the table. That's the legal minimum, Dad. Chloe uncurls from the couch. So you're just going to abandon us after being right? Is that what matters to you? Being right? I meet her gaze. Steadily. What matters to me is being respected, being heard. I exhale slowly. You need me now, but you've never wanted me. There's a difference. My mother collapses into a chair. How can you be so cold? I learned from experts. The words slip out before I can catch them for the first time. They all truly look at Manette through me or past me. They see the woman who built herself without their notice, who succeeded without their approval. These are my boundaries, I say quietly. We'll help you navigate this legally. I will stay 3 days. I will not empty my savings account or co-sign loans. Those are my terms. My father starts to speak, stops, then tries again. When did you become this person? When you weren't looking, is it? Our obligation to help family when they've treated us poorly? Or is setting boundaries? Is an active self-respect? What conditions would you set before helping those who only turn to you in crisis? Father paces the living room, each heavy footfall drumming his authority into the floorboards. I once tiptoed across as head of this family. I've always made decisions with everyone's best interests at heart. He stops, squares, his shoulders toward me. This situation requires a unite front. I sit perched on the edge of the same armchair where I'd curl up with books as a child trying to disappear. Not anymore. Mother wrings her hands, wedding ring clicking against her. Knuckles, blood is thicker than water. Maiden. Surely you understand that now. The familiar weight of their expectations presses down. I straighten my spine. You've always thought you were better. Chloe's voice cracks her mascara. Streed face. Bears little resemblance to the beaming bride-to-be from wedding invitations still scattered across the coffee table. perfect maid-in with her fancy job and big city life. I check my watch. They've been out this for 27 minutes. The coordinated pressure, the guilt, the attempt to make me fold like the paper dolls Chloe and I once played with. She got the pretty dresses, I got the torn scraps when I was 8. I say, voice steady. I won the district spelling bee. You told me you couldn't come because Dad had an important meeting, Father's mouth open, S. I raised my hand. I saw you both at Friendly's afterward with Chloe celebrating her participation ribbon from field day. The silence hangs thick as summer heat. 10th grade. My science project on agricultural runoff. One state. Recognition. The ceremony was the same night as Chloe's choir concert, where she sang in the back row. You chose the concert. Mother's gaze drops to her lap. My high school graduation you left immediately after because Chloe had a date to prom and needed help with her hair. The grandfather clock ticks in the corner, marking seconds of uncomfortable truth. Christmas 2020. I got you each thoughtful gifts based on conversations we'd had that year. You gave me a generic gift card with the wrong name on it. The front door opens with a familiar creak. Aunt Helen stands, framed in the doorway, clutching her purse like a shield. I saw it all. Her voice wavers but holds every recital you missed, every achievement you downplayed. I watched this child wilt while you fawned over her sister. Father's face flushes, crimson. This is family business. Helen, I am family, my aunt says. Someone in this room needs to acknowledge what happened in this house. I rise from the chair, my full height suddenly apparent in this room where I spent so many years trying to shrink myself. I'll help with the house. My voice fills the space I never claimed before. I'll cover the second mortgage. I'll arrange for the credit card debt to be consolidated. Their faces flash with relief, quickly hidden. But I won't help with your reputation. I won't pretend Chloe wasn't scammed by a man any decent background check would have flagged. I won't lie to the neighbors about where the money went. I meet each of their eyes in turn. I won't attend any community functions where you parade me around as the dutiful daughter who swooped in to save the day. Father's jaw clenches. You don't get to dictate terms in my house. I do when I'm the one with the means to save it. The words taste unfamiliar, powerful, certain. My assistance comes with legal protections for me. The money will be handled through formal channels with documentation. You won't have direct access to any funds. Think of it as a business transaction, not a family bailout. Mother's eyes widen. We're not some charity case, me. No, you're not. Charity doesn't come with requirements. This does for my briefcase. I withdraw 3 copies of a document my lawyer prepared. The paper makes a crisp sound as I place them on the coffee table. This outlines the terms of my financial assistance, one-time solution. Not an ongoing relationship. I'll transfer the funds to pay off the second mortgage. Directly to the bank. The credit card consolidation will go through a financial advisor I've selected. This is ridiculous, Father blusters. But his eyes track the papers. Second page is an acknowledgement. I tap the document. It states that for years you consistently favored one child over the other, creating an environment of emotional neglect, Mother gasps. We would never sign such a thing. Then I'll leave. And you can explain to the bank why you can't make next month's payment. The room falls quiet. Except for Chloe's ragged breathing, Father reaches for his reading glasses with shaking hands. You've become hard. I've become honest. I remain standing. The world didn't break me. Neither did you. But I won't pretend anymore. He reads silently. Pen hovering above the signature line. His hand trembles. Your mother and I did our best. Your best was deeply unequal. The words emerge. Without anger. Just truth. 10 minutes later, all 3 signatures. Mark the page. I text my financial advisor to proceed with the arrangements we discussed. I pull out my phone and make a call. Miss Winters, we're proceeding with Plan A. Yes. The full arrangement. I listen briefly. Thank you. The documentation has been signed. You'll receive copies within the hour. I turn to my family. Rachel Winters is a certified financial advisor who specializes in family debt restructuring. She'll contact you tomorrow to begin the process. Everything will go through her, not me. Father opens his mouth to object. This isn't negotiable. I say. She'll ensure the mortgage gets paid and creditors are handled properly. The money never touches your accounts directly. I gather my things without rush or ceremony. No tearful, Embraces, no promises to call soon. I hope you find peace with your choices. I straighten my jacket. Check that I have everything. Aunt Helen follows me onto the porch. Will you be all right? The afternoon sun warms my face as I look at the street where I once waited for a school bus, dreaming of escape I already am. I walk to my rental car, back straight, steps measured the rear view mirror. Shows the house growing smaller, but I don't look back. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. Some shouldn't be. Sunlight streams through the bay windows of my home office, casting golden red rectangles across the maple desk, where I've arranged my life in neat, purposeful rows. My Chicago apartment is gone, traded for this craftsman bungalow. With its solid bones and history, 1 year since I walked away from the Reynolds family drama. The diploma now hangs centered on the wall, maiden. And Reynolds' Bachelor of Science and Data Science, summa cum laude, no longer hidden behind winter coats, no longer secret, my laptop. Chimes with an incoming video call from Layla, the third student in my mentorship program for first-generation college women. Her face appears bright with news about a scholarship interview I used. That preparation technique you taught me? She says, tucking her dark hair behind her ear. When they asked why I deserved it more than others, I didn't apologize or minimize. I told them exactly what I'd accomplish with it, and I lean forward. Her smile breaks wide. They called an hour ago. I got it, you earned it. I correct her gently. There's a difference after the call. I step into my backyard garden. Spring has coaxed the first green shoots from soil I've amended and nurtured through seasons of patience. My fingers brush the tender leaves of tomato seedlings. These will grow strong, unlike the withered roots. I left behind the letter from my therapist. Dr. Chen sits on the patio table, 1 year of weekly sessions. Documented in her precise handwriting, patient demonstrates significant progress in establishing healthy boundaries and recognizing her inherent value, separate from family validation. Wednesday afternoon still. Belonged to the community center where I teach financial literacy to young women last week. Tanya, quick-witted 17-year-old with a spark that reminds me of myself, spotted the warning signs in a pyramid scheme targeting her mother. I showed her the numbers. Don't add up, she told me, cried, straightening her spine. My phone buzzes with Aunt Helen's monthly update. I scan the text. Dad and Mom still struggling to refinance the house, Chloe working part-time at the local bank. Attending therapy twice a month. No mention of attempts to contact me directly. The boundary holds firm on both sides. The garden timer chimes. Time to prepare for tonight. The community center auditorium fills with steady applause. As I walk toward the podium, the mentorship program I founded has been recognized for its impact on first-generation college students. The award feels substantial in my hands. Glass and metal. Catching the light, solid and real. I scan the crowd as I speak. No empty chairs where parents should sit. Instead, Dr. Chen nods encouragingly from the third row. My neighbor, Mrs. Grayson, who brings me heirloom tomato seedlings beans with unrestrained pride. Colleagues from work who value my analytical mind for exactly what it is. Friends who ask how I'm doing and actually wait for the answer. When I started this program, I tell the audience, I thought I was helping others find what I never had. What I discovered instead was that worth doesn't come from external validation. It grows from within when we truly see ourselves back home. I open my laptop to finalize details for the Reynolds Visibility Scholarship for academically accomplished students, whose achievements have been overlooked. The essay question reads, describe a time your contributions went unrecognized and how you maintained your sense of value. A notification, Pops Oil, from Sasha. My first mentee. You saw me when no one else did. That changed everything. As twilight softens the edges of the day, I water my garden with methodical care. The tomato plants stand alongside. Pepper, zucchini, and herb seed. One chosen, planted and tended by hands that know their own strength. The rustle of leaves in the evening, breeze sounds like whispered approval. I touch the stem of a rosebush I pruned severely last fall. It's sprouting new growth stronger than before. Some things grow stronger when cut back. I whisper a smile, tugging at my lips as I survey the life I've built, thriving, rooted, and finally completely visible. Story 2. I tie one last pink balloon to the fence post and step back to survey my handiwork. The backyard looks magical, if I do say so myself. 9 pink play settings dot the picnic table, each with a matching napkin folded into a crown. The bounce house, a $275 splurge that made my credit card UC stands inflated and waiting, its princess turrets gleaming in the October sunshine. The pixel princess cake from Ma's favorite video game sits on the dessert table. 9 candles standing at attention. Perfect, I whisper, though nobody's around to hear. I glance at my watch for the 3rd time in 5 minutes. 11:42. Mom and my sisters should be here by now. They promised to come early and help set up, but that promise evaporated like morning dew, just like always. The sliding glass door squeaks open behind me, and Mila bursts into the yard, twirling in her new birthday dress. The purple fabric, her royal color, sparkles in the sunlight as she spins. Mom, is it time? Is it time? She bounces on her toes, then freezes. Her eyes dart around the empty backyard, scanning for faces that aren't there. Where's Grandma and Aunt Savannah and Aunt Lacey? Are they bringing Tyler with them? Did they see the bounce house yet? I force brightness into my voice. They're on their way, sweetie. Probably just running a little late. Mila's face falls for just a second before she rebuilds her smile. Okay, I'm going to watch for them, from the front window cried. She dashes back inside, and I bite the inside of my cheek until I taste copper. I should have known better than to believe they'd show up on time or at all. The doorbell chimes, and I hear Mila's excited shriek from inside. I hurry around the house just in time to see my daughter's face collapse as she opens the door to find only Aunt Carol standing there, a wrapped present tucked under her arm. Happy birthday, sweet pea, Carol says, stooping to hug Mela. My daughter hugs her back but peers around Carol's shoulder, searching the empty driveway. Is Grandma coming with you? Carol straightens her eyes, meeting mine over Mila's head. Something like anger flashes across her face before she smiles down at my daughter. I came on my own today, honey, but look what I brought you. She hands Mila the gift, beautifully wrapped with a bow that must have taken 20 minutes to perfect. That's Aunt Carol for you, always thinking about the details. Thank you, Mila says, her voice smaller now. She clutches the package to her chest and looks back at me. Mom, can I put this with the other presents? Of course, baby. The party's already out back. As Mila disappears into the kitchen, Carol steps inside and closes the door. Eleanor and the girls aren't coming, are they? She asks, bothering to whisper. My phone buzzes in my pocket before I can answer. I pull it out already, knowing what I'll see. Don't be dramatic. It's just a kid's party. We'll make it up to her at Christmas. My mother's words burn on the screen. Just a kid's party. Just my kid's party. I'm guessing that's your answer, Carol says, watching my face harden. She squeezes my arm. I'm sorry, Maya. The doorbell rings again, saving me from having to respond. Parents start dropping off classmates, 8 little girls in party dresses bearing gift bags and birthday cards. My neighbor from across the street arrives with folding chairs and a cooler of juice boxes. 2 doors down, Mrs. Wilson brings an extra tray of finger sandwiches and a sympathetic smile. For the next hour, I move through the party like I'm underwater, taking pictures, serving cake, supervising the bounce house. Through it all, Mila keeps looking toward the gate, her eyes lighting up every time it opens, then dimming when another classmate arrives instead of her grandmother. When are Grandma and Aunt Savannah and Aunt Lacey and Tyler coming? She asks for what might be the 10th time, tugging at my shirt as I refill the snack bowl. I'm not sure, sweetie, I say, smoothing her hair. But look at all your friends who came to celebrate with you. She nods and runs back to the bounce house, but the slump in her shoulders tells me everything. This isn't the first time my family has let her down, and something in her 9-year-old heart knows it won't be the last. My mind drifts to last Christmas when I maxed out my credit card buying gifts for everyone. $840 worth of presents I couldn't afford because family matters. 3 months ago, I covered Savannah's salon rent when she came up short. $1,650 that I've never seen again and probably never will. Maya can handle it. They always say she's good with numbers. Good with numbers. Like that somehow translates to having extra money. Ever since Dad walked out when I was 20, Mom has treated me like an ATM with legs. "You're the head of this family now," she declared the day after he left, as if his departure promoted me to his position of financial provider. My phone pings with a notification. I glance down and my stomach curdles. Savannah has posted on Instagram a photo of her mom, Lacey, and Tyler raising mimosa glasses at some fancy brunch spot downtown. The caption reads, family first, right mom, mom." Mila's voice breaks through my thoughts. She's standing by the present table, surrounded by her friends ready to open gifts. I tuck my phone away and plaster on a smile. "Coming birthday girl." The girls cluster around as Ma tears into her presents. She thanks each friend with genuine delight. But when all the gifts are opened, she looks up at me, her voice trembling slightly. "Did Grandma forget my birthday?" The question stabs straight through my chest. I open my mouth, searching for words that won't come when Aunt Carol steps in. "Your grandma has a terrible memory sometimes," she says, winking at Ma. "But that just means you might get a surprise another day." Mila brightens a little at this possibility, and the moment passes as the girls rush back to the bounce house for one last jump before their parents arrive. Carol squeezes my hand. "This isn't right, honey." I nod, not trusting myself to speak. When the last classmate has gone home, I retreat to the kitchen with a stack of plates, letting silent tears fall as I wash each one. Through the window, I can see Aunt Carol helping Ma test out her new sidewalk chalk, their heads bent together over a rainbow taking shape on the driveway. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Mom. "Need $350 for a family emergency. Can you transfer it today?" The plate in my hands cracks as I grip it too tightly. I stare at the message at the timestamp. 3:48 p.m. Right in the middle of the party she couldn't be bothered to attend. Something inside me breaks too, a dam I've been patching for years. I set down the broken pieces, dry my hands, and stare at the message a moment longer. The time for tears is over. A week later, my phone buzzes against the kitchen counter while I'm making Mila's lunch. A peanut butter sandwich cut into triangles, apple slices arranged in a smile, and a note with a little heart. Small gestures to show her she matters. The phone buzzes again and again. The family group chat. I wipe my hands on a dish towel and pick it up, my stomach already tightening. 1 week since Ma's birthday disaster, and I've barely heard a word from any of them. The screen lights up with my mother's message. "Exciting news. Savannah's Sweet 16 venue is confirmed. $1,850 per guest, with Maya covering Grandma's share since she's on fixed income. Details attached." I nearly drop my phone. Sweet 16. Savannah is 26 years old. Mom means sweet 26. Lacey clarifies in the next message. Theme is second chance at Sweet 16 since her real one was at the VFW Hall. My fingers tremble as I open the attached PDF. There, printed in glossy color, is a sponsorship page with my LinkedIn profile picture prominently displayed under platinum sponsor Maya Allen. What the I bite. Back the word, aware of Ma's small footsteps padding down the hall. Another text arrives from Lacey. "Maya, you're the accountant. Just handle the deposit. Deadline this weekend. Not a request, a command. Mom." Mila appears in the doorway, Lego piece in hand. "Can you help me with the spaceship?" "In a minute, sweetheart." My voice sounds strange, distant even to my own ears. I watch her shuffle back to her room, shoulders slumped in that way that's becoming too familiar. Just like at her birthday party. Just like every time my family makes promises they never keep. After Ma's door clicks shut, I sit at the kitchen table and open my banking app. The balance stares back at me. $4,213,477. Every penny earmarked for Ma's braces next month. On the counter sits the stack of medical bills from when she broke her arm 2 years ago. Insurance covered most of it, but the $1,200 deductible had cleaned out my emergency fund. I'd sold Grandma Rose's silver ring, the only heirloom I owned, to cover the emergency room visit. Grandma Rose, who taught me to balance a checkbook when I was 10, who'd be horrified to see how her daughter treats her granddaughter. My budget spreadsheet is open on my laptop, color-coded, precise to the penny. Rent $1,025. Utilities $187.32. Groceries $420. Car payment $31.76. After-school care $240. The margins are thin, but we make it work. Our small 2-bedroom isn't much, but I've made it a home. Clean, cared for, safe. I scroll through old Venmo requests from my family. Last month, $650 for Savannah's salon. Emergency. Month before, $420 for mother's new patio furniture. Christmas, $840 for family gifts. None repaid. None even acknowledged beyond a quick thanks sis text. My mother Eleanor has perfected the art of financial manipulation. She wields guilt like a credit card with no limit. After all I sacrificed raising you girls alone. She'll say, conveniently forgetting it was her constant spending that drove Dad away. Savannah, my youngest sister at 26, runs a salon that hemorrhages money faster than she can highlight hair. Every crisis is an emergency requiring immediate funds. Every loan is just until next month, but somehow next month never comes. Then there's Lacey. 24, opportunistic and drowning in credit card debt from online shopping sprees she can't afford. Somehow her financial problems always become my financial solutions. The doorbell rings, startling me out of my thoughts. I've got it. Mila calls, running to answer before I can stop her. I hear Aunt Carol's warm voice in the entryway. Hello, sunshine. Is your mom home? Carol steps into the kitchen, arms loaded with a casserole dish. Her eyes narrow at my expression. What happened? She asks, setting down the food. I wordlessly turn my phone toward her. She reads the message, her mouth tightening into a thin line. They've got some nerve, she mutters, sinking into a chair beside me. After missing her birthday, no, they had brunch instead, I say flatly. I saw the Instagram post. Carol reaches across the table and squeezes my hand. Your mother has always been like this, even when we were kids, but you don't have to keep playing along. A knock at the back door interrupts us. Mrs. Wilson, my 71-year-old neighbor, waves through the window. I gesture her in. Brought you some banana bread, she says, then stops reading the room. Bad time. Family drama, Carol explains. Mrs. Wilson nods knowingly. She's been bringing me casseroles since Mila was born, offering wisdom without judgment. She saw how often I took time off work when family emergencies struck. Witnessed the parade of relatives asking for favors but never returning them. Your coworker James called. Mrs. Wilson says something about covering your shift tomorrow if you need it. Said to tell you he's returning the favor. James always willing to swap shifts when Mother demands my presence for some crisis. One of the few people who actually reciprocates. Mommy. Mila stands in the doorway clutching a piece of paper. Can I hang this on the fridge? It's a school drawing labeled my family. Just 2 stick figures holding hands. Me and her. My throat tightens as I take the picture. Of course, baby. While I'm finding a magnet, I notice the stack of thank you cards on the counter, handwritten by Mila herself for each friend who came to her birthday. Each one decorated with careful crayon stars. That night, after tucking Ma in, I pass her room and hear her small voice. God, please make Grandma like me more. Something in me shatters. Back at my laptop, I find an email I wasn't meant to see forwarded inadvertently by the hotel. The contract for Savannah's Sweet 16 was signed 3 weeks ago before Mila's birthday. They'd known all along they wouldn't be coming. I open a folder on my desktop and create a spreadsheet. Every Venmo request for the past 3 years. The total makes me dizzy. $23,470. My calendar shows 14 vacation days taken. For family events, hospital visits. When Savannah had minor surgery. Helping Mother redecorate. Driving Lacey to job interviews she never showed up for. 0 days when any of them watched Mila while I worked overtime. I opened Facebook. Mother has posted a family photo with the caption, "So blessed with my girls." The picture has been cropped. I was standing at the edge, cut out completely. The anger rises in me. Not hot and explosive, but cold and clarifying. For the first time in years, I see the pattern with perfect clarity. I pick up my phone and open Venmo. The next day, I stare at the Venmo app on my phone, fingers poised above the screen as if disarming a bomb. The kitchen chair cacks beneath me as I straighten my shoulders. My mother's latest demand glares from my email inbox. $1,850 for Savannah's Sweet 16, with me covering Grandma's share since she's on a fixed income. As if my income stretches like carnival taffy, the audacity burns through me like acid. They skipped Ma's birthday to plan this extravaganza. In the next room, I hear my daughter humming to herself, arranging her stuffed animals for a tea party. No cousins, no grandmother, just fabric friends who never disappoint her. I tap the screen and create a new payment. The recipient field fills with my mother's name, and I enter the amount, $1. In the memo line, I type a single word. Congrats. My thumb hovers over the blue payment button. One press, and everything changes. I think of Mila's face at her party, watching the gate, waiting for family who never arrived. I press send. The confirmation appears instantly. I take a screenshot and save it to a new folder on my phone labeled Boundaries. My lungs expand fully for what feels like the first time in years. The kitchen walls seem to widen around me. Mom, can we have spaghetti tonight? Mila calls from the living room. Absolutely, I answer, my voice steadier than it's been in months. By noon, I've made 3 phone calls that should have happened years ago. The locksmith arrives at 2:15, a stocky man named Frank, who whistles through his teeth as he replaces both front and back locks. The invoice reads $175, less than a single small favor my sisters typically request. All set, ma'am, Frank says, handing me 2 shiny keys. No one gets in without these. Now, while Ma naps on the couch, I create a spreadsheet documenting every loan my family hasn't repaid over the past 3 years. The total makes my stomach clench. $23,470. Enough for a decent used car, or a year of community college, or braces for Ma with money left for a family vacation. My phone buzzes incessantly throughout the afternoon. I silence it after the 20th text. Instead, I draft an email to the hotel hosting Savannah's event, attaching screenshots of correspondence proving I never authorized using my name or business credentials as a platinum sponsor. The hotel manager responds within an hour, apologizing for the confusion and confirming my name will be removed immediately. By evening, Mila and I sit at our small kitchen table, twirling spaghetti and watching cartoons on the portable TV. She laughs at something silly on screen. Tomato sauce dotting her chin. This is enough. I think we are enough. The doorbell rings at 8:47 p.m. Through the peephole, I see my mother flanked by both sisters. Their faces contort with barely contained rage. Maya Allen, open this door right now. My mother's voice carries easily through the wood. I step back as the pounding begins. The new deadbolt holds firm. Is that Grandma Mila appears behind me, her eyes wide. Yes, but she forgot to call before coming over, I say calmly. It's too late for visitors tonight. More banging. The doorbell chimes repeatedly. You can't hide in there forever, Savannah shouts. After everything we've done for you, my phone lights up with texts. You're betraying this family. How dare you embarrass us with the hotel? What kind of daughter acts like this? Through the peephole, I watch Mr. Patterson from across the street step onto his porch, arms crossed. The Rodriguez family peers through their blinds. My family has become a spectacle, but for once, I'm not scrambling to fix it. Should we let them in? Mila whispers, clutching my leg. No, honey. Remember our talk about people respecting our home? This isn't respectful behavior. The flash of police lights bathes the living room in blue. I close my eyes briefly. Of course they called the police. When I open the door, Officer Thompson stands on my porch. I recognize him. He coached Ma's soccer team last spring. "Evening, Miss Allen." He says his expression professional but kind. "We received a call about a family dispute, something about threats and a family heirloom being withheld." Behind him, my mother puffs up like a peacock. "She's refusing to return property that belongs to our family," she announces, and she sent threatening messages. I feel Ma's small hands gripping the back of my sweater. She hides behind my legs, her stuffed rabbit clutched to her chest. "May I come in for a moment?" Officer Thompson asks quietly. At my kitchen table, I show him everything. The texts, the emails, the receipts, the screenshot of my $1 Venmo payment. I've been financially supporting them for years without repayment. I explain. I changed my locks today because I'm establishing boundaries. There are no heirlooms, no threats, just me saying no for the first time. Officer Thompson reviews the evidence, his eyebrows rising occasionally. When he finishes, he leans back in the chair. "They're used to you taking care of everything." He says, "Now you're changing the rules." That's always hard for people to accept. He returns to the porch where my family waits, their certainty visibly diminishing as he speaks to them. Minutes later, they retreat to their cars, my mother's finger jabbing in my direction before they drive away. After checking the locks twice, I find Mila sitting on her bed, small legs dangling over the edge. "Mom," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "Am I not important enough? Is that why Grandma and my aunts didn't come to my birthday?" The question knocks the wind from me. I kneel to meet her eyes, taking her small hands in mine. "No, sweetheart. You are the most important thing in the world. That's exactly why I have to protect you from people who don't value us." My phone buzzes on the nightstand. Another text from my mother. "You'll regret this. Family is everything." I delete it without responding and tuck into bed, pulling her comforter up to her chin. "It's just us two," I tell her, smiling genuinely for the first time in days, and that's plenty. After she falls asleep, I check my phone one last time. A text from Aunt Carol appears. "You did the right thing. They're furious, but truth is on your side." Another message from Mrs. Wilson next door. "Those brownies cooling on my counter aren't going to eat themselves. You fought the right fight today." My coworker James. "Need extra shifts to rebuild savings. I can swap Tuesday for your Saturday." An email from Ma's teacher. "She seems happier this week. Everything okay at home?" I set my phone aside and breathe deeply. The house feels different tonight. Lighter somehow, as if the walls have stopped pressing inward. I've been so focused on building a family that I never noticed a community forming around us. Brick by brick, person by person. Tomorrow will bring new challenges. But tonight, for once, I sleep without the weight of impossible expectations crushing my chest. My phone buzzes at 6:30 a.m., jolting me awake before my alarm. I squint at the screen, my stomach dropping when I see Savannah's name. Not a text, a Facebook notification. "Savannah Allen mentioned you in a post." I tap the notification, with my thumb already knowing what I'll find. Her profile loads, revealing a paragraph-long status update. When toxic people show their true colors, some folks pretend to care about family until they're asked to contribute. Then suddenly they're too good for the rest of us. Guess money means more than memories to certain people. 17 comments already. Most from extended family and high school friends I haven't spoken to in years. "So sorry you're going through this, sweetie. Blood isn't always thicker than water. You're better off without negative energy in your life." I scroll through the comments, each one a tiny needle. Nobody asking for my side. Nobody questioning why I might have sent that single dollar. Just automatic assumption that I'm the villain in this story. The bedroom door cracks open, and Ma peeks in Harrow sled from sleep. "Mom, are you okay?" I lock my phone and paste on a smile. "Fine, sweetie. Just checking. Emails." She believes me, thank goodness, and pads back to her room. I wait until her door clicks shut before opening Facebook again, my finger hovering over the comment box. Paragraphs form in my head. Explanations, defenses, receipts, evidence stretching back years. Instead, I type 5 words. I wish you all well. Then I log off, shut down the app, and slide out of bed. The kitchen feels different this morning. Lighter somehow. Despite the social media assault, I pour cereal for Mila, make coffee. Check her backpack for homework. Normal routines that suddenly feel revolutionary without the weight of pending family demands. My phone rings while I'm washing dishes, a number I don't recognize, but the area code is familiar. I almost let it go to voicemail, then answer at the last second. Maya, it's your Uncle Robert. My father's brother, a ghost from another lifetime. Uncle Robert, I haven't heard from you since your high school graduation. I know. His voice sounds older, rougher. I heard what happened with Eleanor and the girls. My shoulders tense. How small town. Plus your mother called me trying to recruit allies, I suspect. A dry chuckle rumbles through the speaker. Thought you might like to know you're not the first person she's done this to. The dish I'm rinsing nearly slips from my fingers. What do you mean? Why do you think your father left 20 minutes later? I'm sitting at the kitchen table staring at a photo. Uncle Robert texted me, Dad at my 5th birthday party, eyes hollow, shoulders curled inward. The same expression I've seen in my own mirror for years. History repeating itself, Uncle Robert had said. She drained him for years. Then she moved on to you. The doorbell interrupts my thoughts. I open it to find Mrs. Wilson from 2 doors down, holding a casserole dish. Chicken and rice, she says, pushing it into my hands before I can object. The ladies from Street Marks will be by with more tomorrow. Mrs. Wilson. That's really not. We've all been watching, she cuts me off, her voice firm but kind. Some of us have been exactly where you are. Family can be wonderful, or it can be quicksand. Before I can respond, she touches my arm. There's a rotation of us keeping an eye out when certain cars drive by. Just so you know. She leaves before I can thank her properly, the warmth of the casserole dish seeping into my palms. I place it on the counter and notice an envelope that must have been tucked underneath. Inside is a $200 gift card with a simple note for Ma's needs. No name, no strings attached, just kindness without expectation of return. The contrast knocks the wind from me. I sink onto a kitchen chair, tears blurring my vision. These neighbors owe me nothing. We exchange waves at mailboxes and occasional small talk about weather. Yet here they are forming a protective circle, while blood relatives wage digital war. That evening after Ma's asleep, I pull out my budget spreadsheet. For the first time in years, I recalculate without factoring in family emergencies. The numbers shift before my eyes, revealing an extra $732 monthly that's been disappearing into the black hole of my family's demands. $732 enough for Ma's braces with some left over. Enough for the education account I've been dreaming about since she started kindergarten. Enough for a modest vacation at the lake this summer where she can make memories that don't include waiting for relatives who never show up. I stare at the numbers, my breathing growing steadier with each inhale. Then I open a browser and research savings accounts for education. 20 minutes later, I've opened one in Ma's name with a small initial deposit, a start, a seed. The next morning, grocery shopping feels different. I study prices out of habit but realize I'm not calculating each item with the razor-thin margins of before. At the checkout, I splurge on a bunch of tulips, $24 for no reason, except they're pretty and will make our dining table cheerful. This small rebellion against scarcity brings a smile to my face that lasts all day. Saturday morning. Mila wanders into the living room while I'm folding laundry. She's wearing her favorite pajamas, the ones with rainbows that are getting too small, but she refuses to give up. Aren't we going to Aunt Savannah's party today? She asks, casual as can be. My hands freeze mid-fold. What, the Sweet 16 party? I saw it on your calendar before. She shrugs. Taylor from school is going. Her mom is friends with Grandma. The familiar guilt surges through me. Bitter as copper. Should I reconsider? Am I being too harsh? The questions cycle through my head. Old programming trying to reassert control. Then Mila adds, I don't really want to go anyway. Those parties are boring. You have to wear itchy clothes and smile all the time. Decision made. How about we go to the park instead? The basketball courts should be empty this early. Her face lights up. Can we get ice cream after? Absolutely. Hours later, we're sitting in a booth at Dairy Dream sharing a $7 sundae. Chocolate fudge drips down Ma's chin as she giggles about beating me at horse. Her happiness is unfettered, genuine in a way I rarely saw at family gatherings where she walked on eggshells desperate for attention that never came. A woman at the next table smiles at us. Would you like me to take your picture? I hesitate, then hand her my phone. She captures us, mid-laugh ice cream, and all our faces pressed together. When she returns the phone, I study the photo. Messy, imperfect, radiantly happy. Nothing like the posed family portraits my mother insists on, each Christmas where everyone holds strange smiles and calculated positions. I like this way better than a fancy party. Mila declares, diving back into the sundae. So do I. I realize. So do I. My phone chimes with a text from Aunt Carol that night. I dry my hands on a dish towel and tap the notification. You dodged a bullet. Her message reads, Sweet 16 disaster, complete train wreck. I sink into a kitchen chair torn between curiosity and relief. My thumb hovers over the call button, but Carol beats me to it. The phone rings and I answer. What happened? I ask, voice hushed, so Mila won't hear from her bedroom. Carol's laugh crackles through the speaker. Where do I start? They seated your mother next to the smoke machine. You know how her asthma acts up. She spent half the night coughing and complaining. Of course she did. I can picture her dramatically waving her hand in front of her face, making sure everyone notices her discomfort. Savannah fought with the DJ over every song. The poor man looked ready to unplug everything and walk out. Carol lowers her voice, and when the bill came, Eleanor's face turned whiter than that fancy tablecloth. Suddenly nobody could make eye contact. I wind the dish towel around my finger. How much was it? Let's just say they went way over budget without your platinum sponsorship. They kept glancing at the empty chair where you were supposed to sit like they'd saved a spot for your wallet. A small vindicated smile tugs at my lips before guilt squashes it. I shouldn't be happy about their misfortune. It's not misfortune when you design a party around someone else's bank account, Carol says firmly. It's consequence. The next morning I'm organizing files at work when a shadow falls across my desk. I look up to find my mother standing there wearing her Sunday dress. We need to talk, she says loud enough that my coworkers glance over. My stomach drops, but I keep my voice level. This isn't appropriate, Mom. I'm working. She sets her purse on my desk, covering the spreadsheet I've been updating for the past hour. Family comes first. I stand guiding her toward the break room with a light touch on her elbow. 10 minutes, I whisper. Inside, she launches into a speech about forgiveness and family duty that sounds rehearsed. I recognize pieces of Pastor Wallace's sermons woven throughout. Speaking of Pastor Wallace, she says, adjusting her pearl earrings, he called me after service today. He's concerned about our family division, said reconciliation is God's way. I stare into my lukewarm coffee. Did you tell him why we're divided? She waves dismissively. Details don't matter when family is involved. They matter to me. That evening, an envelope was waiting in my mailbox. No return address. Inside, a handwritten note reads, Children need their grandmother. Think about what you're doing to Mila. The next day, Savannah's husband calls. Just give them what they want, he pleads. Peace is worth the money, Maya. Then comes the Thanksgiving invitation. Cream cardstock with gold embossing, a handwritten note at the bottom. Water under the bridge if you contribute $750 for the venue. I place it on the counter beside Ma's school photo. Her smile has returned these past weeks brighter than before. After tucking Ma into bed that night, I sit at the kitchen table with an old family photo in my hands. Christmas 7 years ago. Dad was still with us then. Mom hadn't yet assigned me his financial responsibilities. We're all smiling, though I remember the argument that erupted 10 minutes after this was taken when Dad questioned the credit card bill. My phone sits beside me. Mom's number highlighted. One tap would reconnect us. One call could smooth everything over. Just another check, another withdrawal from my savings. Another promise I'd make to Mela that I'd have to break when their next emergency arose. Ma's voice echoes in my memory. Am I not important enough? I place the old photo in a drawer and replace it with her school picture. The girl with the confident smile deserves better than what I had. The next morning I draft a letter. Not an emotional plea, but a documented history. Every loan, every missed event, every broken promise with dates and amounts. Terms for future contact laid out in clinical precision. Boundaries with consequences spelled out in language. Even Savannah could understand. I make copies, one for Mom, one for each sister. One for Pastor Wallace with a cover note explaining the financial manipulation he's been unknowingly supporting. The final sentence takes me 3 attempts to write. This isn't about money, it's about respect. I sign each copy, slide them into envelopes, and send them certified mail. 2 days later, a small envelope arrives addressed to Mila. The return address belongs to Bethany Thompson, a classmate who couldn't attend her birthday party. Mila tears it open at the kitchen table, her eyes widening at the handmade card covered in glitter and stickers. Sorry I couldn't come. Happy 9th birthday, she reads aloud. She tilts the card and $3 bills flutter to the table. A note explains for ice cream. I'm saving up for a bike, but wanted you to have this. Mila handles the money like it's made of glass. Mom, can we get ice cream tomorrow? Of course we can. She carefully places the card on our refrigerator, straightening it 3 times until it's perfect. This is the best card ever, she declares. I watch her skip off to her room, the $3 clutched in her hand. $3 from a child saving for a bike. Worth more than all the hollow promises my family ever made. The phone rings that evening. Grandma's number. I almost let it go to voicemail, but answer on the final ring. Maya, you need to fix things, she says without greeting. Your mother and sisters are fighting constantly since that letter arrived. About what money? What else your mother says? Savannah pushed too hard with that sweet 16 business. Savannah says, Lacey promised you'd cover more than your share. They're all blaming each other for driving you away. I close my eyes, familiar pressure building behind my temples. For a moment, I'm tempted to step in to mediate as I've always done. Instead, I take a deep breath. I'm not responsible for fixing adult relationships. But you've always been the sensible one, Grandma insists. Yes, I say, watching Mila through her bedroom doorway as she arranges her stuffed animals for a tea party. That's why I'm making a different choice now. I balance on a wobbly step-ladder roller in hand as soft yellow paint transforms our living room wall. 2 months since I sent that $1 Venmo payment, and the world hasn't ended. In fact, it's gotten brighter, literally. Mom, you missed a spot. Mila points with her brush to a patch near the ceiling. Her purple t-shirt bears splatter marks like tiny yellow stars. Got it, eagle eyes. I stretch higher, rolling paint over the stubborn white square. What do you think better than the old beige? Way better, Mila says, attacking the baseboards with the focus of a surgeon. It's like sunshine inside. The front door opens, and James from work pokes his head in, carrying a bookshelf under one arm like it weighs nothing. Special delivery, he announces. Where do you ladies want this? By the window, I say, climbing down. You didn't have to build it yourself. James shrugs. What else would I do with my weekends? Watch golf. His laughter fills our small house, a sound that once would have made me tense, expecting my mother's judgment about male visitors. Now I just smile and help him position the oak shelves where afternoon light will hit them. Later, Mila arranges her books by color, while I stand back admiring our handiwork. The calendar on the fridge catches my eye. Movie night, written in Ma's crooked handwriting for Friday Park Day for Sunday. No family obligations, no emergency loans. The tension I carried in my shoulders for years has melted away, leaving room to breathe. Mrs. Wilson called. Mila says, carefully placing her Harry Potter collection on the middle shelf. She wants to know if I can come over tomorrow for knitting lessons. Do you want to go? Mila nods, her eyes bright. She says I have natural talent. Then absolutely. I tuck a strand of hair behind her ear, leaving a smudge of yellow paint on her cheek. Sorry about that. She giggles, deliberately touching my nose with her paintbrush. Now we match. 2 weeks later, Mila stands in front of her third-grade class, holding a poster board titled My Hero. Her teacher, Mrs. Langston, emailed me about the project, but I wasn't prepared for the lump in my throat when Ma unveils her work. 2 stick figures hold hands against a crayon sunset. Above them, careful letters spell out, "My mom taught me that love doesn't hurt." That evening, a note arrives from Mrs. Langston. Mila seems so much more confident these days. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. I place the note on our refrigerator with a magnet shaped like a sunflower right next to Ma's drawing. Christmas cards arrive, including one with my mother's handwriting. Inside, guilt drips from every line. Family should be together during the holidays. We've all made mistakes. Savannah's text arrives next. I miss my niece. Tyler asks about her. Then Lacey emails about a family healing retreat in Arizona. The price tag, $2,300 per person, makes me snort coffee through my nose. I read each message twice, waiting for the familiar twist of shame and obligation in my gut. Nothing comes. Just calm clarity as I type a single response to all 3. We've moved forward. I wish you well. Our Christmas tree stands 4 feet tall in the corner, adorned with popcorn strings and ornaments Mila crafted at school. The presents beneath it aren't expensive. A new sketchbook colored, pencils, a telescope found at a garage sale, but they're wrapped with care, each tag written in my best handwriting. Mrs. Wilson brings apple cider. James arrives with a casserole that's more cheese than vegetable. Aunt Carol drives 3 hours to join us, bearing homemade cookies and genuine hugs. I brought something else, Carol says, handing me a leather-bound album. The first page reads our family of 2 in her elegant script. It's beautiful, I whisper, touching the embossed cover. Room to grow, she replies, nodding toward our guests laughing in the kitchen. January finds me joining a support group for single parents at the community center. February has me volunteering at Ma's school once a month. Uncle Robert, Dad's brother, sends occasional postcards with encouraging notes from his travels. We're building something new, brick by careful brick. As another October approaches, bringing Ma's 10th birthday, I plan a simple celebration, a picnic in the park, a homemade cake, friends who actually show up. The mail brings a surprise, a card from my mother containing a crisp $50 bill with no strings attached. No demands, no guilt, just happy birthday, granddaughter, signed in shaky script. I consider returning it, then slide it into Ma's birthday fund instead. Boundaries don't mean cutting people off entirely. They mean controlling the terms of engagement. Tonight, after Mila falls asleep, I sit at our kitchen table, writing in the journal Aunt Carol gave me for Christmas. The words flow easily. Real family isn't defined by blood, but by the people who show up when it matters. I glance up at our wall, where a new photo hangs in a simple frame. Neela and me flanked by Aunt Carol, Mrs. Wilson, James, and Uncle Robert at the park last weekend. Below it, a small wooden plaque reads, "Our Family." The house is quiet, except for Ma's peaceful breathing from the next room. I close my journal, feeling something I haven't felt in years. Home.